this video, we're going to be doing a wheel stud conversion on the E90. Now, if you have a BMW and you've ever taken your wheels off before, you know how much of a pain it is to try to put the wheel back on, try to align the holes just right so that you can put the bolts back in. BMW has this really magical way of taking something as simple as changing your wheels and just making it unnecessarily complicated. They even sell an alignment tool that you basically screw in one of the holes to help you line it up. That way, just for a brief moment, you can pretend that you have studs like everybody else. But in this video, we're gonna show you how to put the studs in. Big thanks to Brian at Keys Motorsports for sending me this stuff. He also sent me a pair of 15mm spacers for my front wheels. More on those a little later in the video, but for now, let's jack the car up and I'll show you how to put these in. So before I go ahead and take this wheel off, just pay attention to how the wheel is sitting in the fender there. I'll play this clip back so you can see it before and after with the spacers. One of the biggest perks of being a YouTuber is just the comments and suggestions that you get in the videos. So in the video where I was putting the wheels on, I was really struggling to get one of the wheels off because it had kind of seized onto the hub. So a lot of you guys recommended getting some copper grease. So for everyone that suggested that, thank you. I'm gonna really clean this up really good, hopefully for the last time in a while, and then I'm gonna put some grease on there. That way removing the wheels shouldn't be that big of an issue in the future. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, we are going to be running 15mm spacers just in the front only. The rear fitment is fine, but for the front, unfortunately when you're just buying like off-the-shelf cast wheels, they don't always have a lot of options as far as the offset. So sometimes if it's just a small amount that you need, you can use a spacer like this to correct for that. Now I know that there's a lot of controversy out there as far as whether or not you should run spacers or if they're safe. I don't think it's so much an issue of the actual spacer itself. It's more of when people use the spacer but they still want to use their stock hardware. Like as you can see, if you look at this wheel bolt, not even including the wheels, just if I put the spacer into that, it's already taken up half of the thread, so that's not going to be safe. So another cool thing about these wheel studs, they come in different lengths, and I think Brian said that this kit that he sent me, this will accommodate up to a 20mm spacer. So as you can see, I can put that through there. There's still tons of thread where I can safely put a lug nut on there and I don't have to worry about the wheels falling off or something like that. Another key feature to look for in a spacer is this hub-centric ring. Basically, that's going to snap into the wheel almost like a Lego. That way the weight of the car is being supported by the hub and not by the actual studs themselves. So that's another really important feature to look for. So in order to install your lug studs, all you're going to need is a torque wrench with a 5mm Allen socket and then just a small tube of medium strength thread locker. You're going to set your torque wrench to 25 pound-feet. Then you're going to take your medium strength thread locker on this little end with the nub here. That's the part that's going to go into the car, and you're just going to do one drop just like that. Bloop. Then you just want to hand thread it before you tighten it down with the torque wrench. Now as you can see, that stud has a 5mm Allen on the end of it. That's where your torque wrench is going to come in. Again, set to 25 pound-feet. You're just going to go ahead and tighten that up. So the lug nuts that we got are these steel ones. They're actually hollow through the end, so when you put them on, you don't have to worry if the stud is too long, that these are going to be like too shallow or something. If the stud is longer than this, it'll just poke through the end a little bit. It's no big deal. So let's go ahead and put these in. And the nice thing about these is they're 17mm, so you can keep using your old wheel socket if you already have one of these for your BMW. So because I know someone's going to ask, the BMW center caps didn't fit. I tried putting it in, but it's like just slightly too big, but I don't really care. I don't mind these, but some people were asking if these would fit, and no, they don't. So this side's looking pretty good. Off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and we'll lower the car down and I'll show you what the front looks like with those spacers in. So I still have to do the rears, but for right now I just want to show you what the front looks like. The spacers were the perfect fit. I now have the front wheel flush with the fender just like the rear, so I think the fitment is looking good. I did end up ordering the BC Extreme Low coilovers. It said it's going to take a couple weeks for them to come in though, so look forward to a video on that some point in the future. We're going to close up this wheel gap a little bit, but yeah, I really like how these look. The hardware, it kind of gives the car more of a, I guess, like a race car kind of look if that's your thing, but yeah. Everything that you're going to need for this project is going to be linked down in the description. The studs, all the hardware, the tools, everything that you need to do this project is linked down below if you want to check that out. So I've got an embarrassing story to tell you guys, and I almost thought about not even bringing this up at all, just keeping it like my little secret. In the video where I installed the wheels on the car, there was one point, I don't know if I filmed it or not, but I had one of the wheels leaning up against the garage door. And then I needed to open the garage door to get my jack under the back of the car so I could jack it up. Anyway, without even thinking, I hit the garage door button and the wheel flopped over on its face. And it's not this side, it's the other side. It scratched off a bunch of the paint. And I don't really cry a lot, but at that moment I came very close. So I actually went on Amazon, like in that moment, ordered a new wheel. So that's what that box is behind me, just in case you were wondering. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. It happens. Sometimes it just seems like it happens to me more than other people, but that's all right. Now I have a very cool decoration for the garage, and I have a spare wheel, you know, in case anything ever happens to my other ones. We do live in Michigan after all. There is potholes, so nice to have that on the side if I ever need it. Bonus DIY, so I've wanted to include more skating stuff on the channel. I'll probably keep this towards the end of the video, that way people that don't care can just dip out if they want, and that's fine. But today I have to set up a new deck, and I'm going to show you how to put the grip tape on. Now, for those of you who don't skate, you might not have even realized that the grip tape is sold separately. It's kind of like putting vinyl on a car, but this doesn't stretch at all. So you kind of have to get it on perfect. There's not a whole lot of room for error. So basically what I do, now this is a wider board. Basically skateboards are sold by width. They do come in different lengths, but when you're buying a board, the width is the main thing that you're looking at. I skate an 8.5, which is kind of on the wider end. Basically, a narrower board is easier to flip, so it's easier to learn new tricks on. Whereas a wider board like this, it's easier to get consistency. There's less likelihood that you're gonna overflip and have the board land on its side. So I skate an 8.5. It's kind of like one of the biggest mainstream sizes that they make. But you just want to take your grip tape, it's got like this back paper on it, just peel that back, just like that. Just kind of want to line it up. Now, one of the problems with this is that over the past decade or so, boards have gotten bigger, but the size of the grip tape sheet basically hasn't changed at all. So if you look at this from the bottom view, you can see that there's not a whole lot of wiggle room around the sides, but that's okay. I think I've got it lined up as best as I can. And what I do is I start on the ends of the board, the nose and the tail, and then I'll just push down very carefully in the middle, and then just kind of work my way out slowly. You can kind of unstick this. The backside is extremely sticky, so like I said, you kind of have one shot with this. If you mess up the grip tape, you'll probably have to order a new sheet. So just take your time, work your way out from the middle just like that. Try not to get air bubbles. Just like vinyl for cars, they do sell air release grip tape that's got like perforations in it. I don't think that this one does, but we should be good. And then as you get close to the nose and the tail, they'll just pop off just like that. Perfect. If you have one of these skate tools like this, the screwdriver has this little file on the edge of it. You can use that. Some people will just tear a little piece of the grip tape off, but you basically want to cut, or sand, I should say, an outline around the edge of the board. Mostly just so that you can see it. You're not trying to file through the grip tape or anything. You just want to be able to see it from the top. Then grab your handy dandy razor blade. Now it's really important to use a sharp blade. After you cut out one board, the blade is pretty much garbage. I mean, it's cutting on sandpaper. It's like about the worst thing that you can ever do to a blade. So you're just gonna look at your outline. You're gonna poke a hole through the top and just very carefully cut around the edge. Now, unlike vinyl wrapping a car, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's more just like aesthetic. Some people like a nice clean board on the top, but realistically, like the first time that you skate, you're gonna mess up on a trick and it's gonna land upside down like that. And that's pretty much gonna file off the excess anyway, but this is just to get the big pieces off the edge. You know what's funny is you go into some of those skate shops in the mall like Zoomies, a lot of the employees there actually don't know how to grip a board, and the couple times that I've bought boards there, I've actually had to either teach them how to do it or just, do it myself using their tools, which is kind of interesting. I guess if you work at a skate shop, that should be like one of the first things that they teach you, but whatever. So the next part is just lining up the hardware. As you can see, there are 8 holes in the bottom of the skateboard. We need to make those go through the top. So what I do, I know everyone's got a different way that they set up their board, but what I actually do is I will poke a hole through the bottom, not necessarily all the way through, but just kind of make an indent in the grip tape, just like that. I'll do that on all 8 of them. Now from the top of the board, they're very faint, you can hardly see them, but it kind of gives you an idea of where the holes actually are. Okay. Once you push through your bolts, you can then grab your trucks. Now personally, I ride independent trucks. I have Spitfire wheels and Bronson bearings. It's a nice little setup. It's affordable. I think that this entire skateboard, which is like all pretty much professional parts, is under $200, so skateboarding is not a very expensive hobby, I'll put it that way. Obviously, bushings are on the inside of the board, that way it turns correctly. And then you just want to put your nuts on. And there you have it, that's how you grip a skateboard, in case you're wondering. Now, I'm not normally superstitious about a lot of things, but one thing that I always think about is if I set up a new board and I don't land a kickflip on the first try, might as well just throw the whole thing out. Oh, that was a little sloppy. Alright guys, thanks for watching. As always, links for everything are down in the description if you want to check those out. Look forward to the coilover install at some point, should be in the next couple weeks. I'll see you guys in the next one.